Hey everyone, welcome to part 22 of this Dark Urge Tactician mode guide for Baldur's Gate 3. Act 3 is amazingly full of side content, but we're going to skip through most of that and only stick to the main path, getting things that will get us either easy experience for leveling up, certain items or equipment that are very useful, or things that will give us an advantage in the final battle. As you head down the first path from the beginning of the act, you'll notice a little camp on the left side. Go ahead and loot through some of the backpacks and the burlap sack around here. You'll be able to find some really good healing potions, which can come in handy later. So grab those, and then when you're all done looting this area, we want to continue on down the path, where we'll get interrupted with a cutscene by a young girl. And as we talk to her, let's be sure to choose nice options.
Excuse me. I can't find my mum.
What's your name?
Jenna. And my cat is Grub. He's shy. I'm not. My mum is called Emery. She went to go get some herbs for her spots. She was sick, and she was supposed to come back the same day. That was last 10 day, though.
You must be hungry. Take some food.
Wow. Thanks. My mum would like this. She's the best cook in the world. And she taught me too. I'll look for her. I think she'll probably come soon. Thanks a lot.
After that good deed of the day, we're going to immediately turn left going around this cart, and we're going to follow this path around until we get to a big iron gate on the left-hand side. This is the Circus of the Last Days, and we want to go in there to get a really powerful item. So let's go over next to the fence, and we can find Klaus, and we'll talk to him.
Stinks of cheese between his piggy toes.
How dare you? What in the hells is all of this?
A necessity, good sir. The Steel Watch loves pretending sweet Rivington doesn't exist. So we have decided to protect you, dear patrons. No need to thank us. You'll be allowed in once I've done this batch. Next! Hello, hello, and welcome to the Circus of the Last Days, the finest extra-planar circus there is.
A circus! Can we go?
I'd like to enter the circus.
Not a problem, dear patron. Benji just has to check if you're a vicious murderer. Benji?
Huh? Blood! Tasty blood! So delicious!
Oh, well, that's a first. Usually I'd allow you in, but in these times, I can take no chances. Move along. No circus for you.
Rogue Deception. I've actually just been hired. I juggle knives. This will give us a skill check looking for a 10, pretty easy with our bonuses, so let's go ahead and roll that and get our way into the circus.
I hope you're good. The Redcaps got a little too excited when the last one nicked himself. Ooh. Welcome to the circus. A motley crew of misfits and morons. We're happy to have you.
Alright, and with that the door will open. We're going to go inside, but we're not going to go too far. We're going to hang out right here by the stairs. Eventually someone will walk past us, and we want to wait until he just comes beyond us, because then he won't be able to see us anymore. We can crouch down now, and we're going to start off a battle here by hitting him with a sneak attack, ranged attack. So let's go ahead and hit Benji so that we get a surprise at the beginning of the attack. If you attack Klaus, then you do not get the surprise, so make sure that you attack Benji. There's not much of a secret to this battle. You just want to use the normal tactics we've been using for basically the whole game. We get automatic critical hits because they're surprised, which is very good for us. You do not want to go close to them, however. Make sure you're only using range attacks, because if you go out, then it's likely that you'll be seen by one of the guards, and that's going to cause a lot bigger fight that we don't want. We're just killing these guys because they give us very easy experience for a fight that we can do without taking any damage at all. So let's go ahead and just finish off Benji here, and then we'll be able to end the fight.
One can't always be a
We get hundreds of experience just for defeating those two enemies. Act 3 is very good at being generous with the amount of experience you get from fights. So let's go ahead and just pick up the weapons that we threw. We're not going to need them much longer, but it's good to always pick up after yourself after a fight. We'll continue into the Circus of the Last Days, heading straight west. We're going to go until we can see a genie standing right by a spinning roulette wheel. We're going to go right behind the genie, and we're actually going to pickpocket him here. It's actually a pretty easy thing to pickpocket, so you don't have to worry too much about that. The main thing is that if you try to use the spinning wheel, the ring will allow him to cheat and you'll lose every time. So we're going to put things in our favor a little bit. So let's go ahead and pickpocket the genie, and we're going to find that he has the genie ring. Once you have that, then we just have to talk to him to get a cutscene.
Approach, ugly one.
You are very loud.
Yes, behold, a Kabi's Wheel of Wonders. Spin to win prizes beyond your tiny imagination and make your miserable life more bearable.
It'll cost you 500 gold, but say, I'd like to spin the wheel.
Let us see if you have luck's favor. Impossible. You thief! You cheated!
So did you. I just evened the odds.
Enjoy the jackpot, muley card!
As we get teleported away, we do get an inspiration point for Gale called Sage a Grand Prize, and we get 220 experience for that. We're now in a jungle and we're surrounded by dinosaurs. Luckily, we have a pretty big advantage here, and that is every time that we attack one of these dinosaurs when they don't expect it, we get the surprise status on them, which means that we'll automatically be able to get a critical hit, and we're going to have our actions refunded to us because we have the assassin subclass. So let's go ahead and sneak up on this guy. We're going to hit him with a sneak attack ranged, and it's going to do a lot of damage to him. Then we just have to follow that up with another sneak attack ranged while he's surprised, and that will be it for that enemy. We have to do this multiple times, so be careful because the other enemies will come up to investigate. We're invisible because we just killed an enemy. We don't want to engage them until we have the combat end, and then we can begin it again. That means that we'll always get 2 attacks in a row while they're going to be surprised. So just wait until they investigate the area. They're going to try to detect the hidden presence. Without being able to find anything, we'll be able to then use our sneak attack range to initiate the fight again. And we just have to do that over and over again. So I'm actually going to speed up the footage here as we go through this. There is like a bigger alpha one. You need to be a bit careful with that one just because it has a little bit more health, but using the same method, you should be able to take it out just fine. So here we are going at super speed. You can see the alpha, it's actually called the Colossa. It came out of the cave just toward the west of our starting position. Then once he's gone, we just have to finish up the other littler ones in this area. They're not too difficult. We'll just use that same method as before. So I'll just let this quick play out for you, and then we'll reconvene as we go and take out one last one who's actually hiding in the cave that Colossa came out of. Alright, after all of that, we're going to continue toward the west. We want to go into that cave just to take out the last remaining dinosaur, just for some free experience for us. So let's go ahead and sneak around because we don't want to be seen. And then when we get within range, we'll hit him with a sneak attack range attack, and that is going to be enough to trigger the fight, put him into that surprise state, and we can follow that up with one more sneak attack ranged, and that will be enough to actually finish the fight. Now that he's out of the way, then we're just going to turn around. We're going to run out toward the north, and what we want to do is kind of stick down toward the left-hand side. we'll go down around this tree and then go over toward the right. We're going to circle around, and ultimately you want to go toward the quest marker on your minimap. You'll see that big blue portal in the background. That's where you want to go. So start running toward this area, and then we're going to get down toward the bottom. Now, because we are half a lithid, we have the ability to fly. So we want to go select that option, and then we're going to fly across this chasm here, and we're going to land right before the portal. Pay attention though, because there's a chest on the left side. It's called the painted chest. We're going to go ahead and lockpick this thing and grab what's inside of it. This has a skill check of 20, so it's a little bit difficult. We've got some good bonuses though on our side. We'll just do a quick save here, and then we're going to roll this one and open up the chest. Inside we get a new legendary weapon, and it's incredibly powerful. The Nyrulna is a throwing weapon that we can give to Karlach. What's interesting is that when you throw it, wherever it lands, it will deal between 3 and 12 thunder damage in a 6-meter blast centered on the target. Also, whenever you throw it, it automatically returns to your hand, which means we don't have to worry about collecting things after battle anymore. We can always just keep throwing it again and again and again, and it's good for doing not only big damage to a single target, but everything around them. It doesn't discriminate against the enemy or you, so you've got to be a little bit careful with your own party members being too close, but for the most part, we're going to be using that exclusively with Karlach, and it makes things so much easier with her. So now we went back through the portal, and we're able to go back toward where the genie is. We're going to go and regroup with our party members over here, and now we actually want to put that new weapon to the test. So let's go over here, and then we're going to crouch down, getting all of our party members together once again. Now let's go into our inventory, and we want to equip that Nyrulna onto Karlach. It actually goes really well with the shield that she's already equipped with, so we don't need the Blood of Lathander anymore. We'll equip the Nyrulna, and she will be good to go. Not only is it powerful, but it looks pretty cool too. So after all that's done, now we want to engage in combat against the genie. Your positioning here needs to be really good. Kind of right behind the wheel is where you want to start. You don't want to go too far up into the west, because then you'll actually get into a fight with other enemies that you do not want to be in a fight with. So that's about as far up as you want to go, right about where that wheel's shadow is. Now let's go ahead and start attacking Akabi. We can do lots of damage against him. He does have quite a bit of health, but he's not that difficult, especially with our team set up. You may see some other enemies join the fight as they walk around. That's okay though, they don't pose a huge threat to us. Now with Karlach, we're going to Frenzy so that we can get that ability to use our Enrage throw, and we're going to toss the Nyrulna straight toward the east. There's going to be Zara the Mummy. We're going to hit her over here. It can do lots of damage and knock her down. You see those critical hits? Took her all the way from 110 health down to 52. Let's go ahead and just throw the weapon again. You'll see it automatically came back into our inventory. We'll toss it to Zara again. They'll do lots of damage. She's almost done. We don't want to waste another throw on her though, because we can just pick up the kill when it's Gale's turn by hitting her with just one of the magic missiles, and that'll be enough to finish her off. So instead, we're going to throw the weapon down here to Viola Silvertongue. Not only does she take damage, but the enemy next to her also took 7 thunder damage as an AoE blast. So that's the power of that weapon. If you get a group of enemies really close together, you can do tons of damage to all of them all at once. Now with Lae'zel, I'm going to use Hunter's Mark on Akabi just to make sure that we're doing extra damage to him, trying to finish him off as quick as possible. Now we're just going to use a couple of main hand attacks, and then we can follow that up by using our Action Surge and a couple more main hand attacks. This enemy is too far away, so he's just going to dash close to us, but not actually do anything to hurt us. And now it's going to be Gale's turn. We just want to use a level 1 magic missile. We're going to go ahead and tag Zara the Mummy, who's just a little bit away from us, so we're going to guarantee the kill on that enemy. And then looking around, we have Akabi and Paramidius. We're just going to put the rest of the darts into Akabi, and that'll be enough to finish off Zara and do a little bit of damage to Akabi as well. Now we're just going to hit him with an offhand melee attack, stacking up that reverberation on him. So once that's done, we're going to have the enemy take their turn, and Viola Silvertongue is going to try to use Tasha's Hideous Laughter. This would incapacitate one of our members, so we don't want that. Let's use Psionic Dominance to shut that down. It's one of our new Illithid powers. And now that she can't really attack us anymore, she's just going to use Bardic Inspiration on the enemy nearby to us. And then Akabi is going to take his turn. Unfortunately, what happens is that he knows Thunder Wave and can attack all of the enemies nearby. I would have been able to shut this one down if I hadn't shut down Tasha's Hideous Laughter. So I took some damage here, but it's better than having one person incapacitated for pretty much the rest of the fight. Well, it's back to our turn again, and we're going to do the same strategy as the previous turn. Basically, just try to knock the enemies down to as low of health as possible, and then have Gale clean them up with a guaranteed hit magic missiles. So whether you attack the genie or the other nearby enemies, the goal isn't just to kill them outright with one of your characters. The goal is just to get their health low enough so that Gale can pick up the kill very easily. Just spread out that damage and then finish them all off, especially with Gale's Call of the Weak. They don't have to be even that low of health. They can be like in the low 20s and you're still good to go with that easy kill. So let's just finish up the fight and I'll let it play out, and then I'll see you at the end of it when we'll move on.
Good idea. Time to strike. Gods, it's hot in here.
Alright, after that fight, we're just going to go around and loot the enemies around here. Make sure you loot Akabi's body. It just looks like the big pile of dust right at the base of that wheel. And he should have a lot of gold on him. All the gold that we gave him and a whole lot more. After you're all done looting, let's go ahead and just quickly do a short rest. That gives us all of our health back that we're missing. And now we're going to go over toward the other side of the Circus of the Last Days, over toward the north. We're going to get into a fight with some shapeshifter enemies. These are people who work for Orin. So let's go over here kind of by where these big cages are. The game will autosave, which is very convenient for us. And then once that's done, what we want to do is to actually go over toward one of the guys on the left-hand side. Between these cages is someone named Karen, and what we want to do is just go behind them, and then we can use our Shrouded in Shadow ability to turn invisible. Now we want to quickly pickpocket Karen so that we can grab the Beast Cage key. That way she cannot open up the Beast Cage and let them out when the fight begins. Let's run and hide behind this tree right next to the dinosaur's cage, and we're just going to wait until Karen comes around to investigate because she'll notice that she's been pickpocketed. So just wait for her to come around, and then when she correctly identifies you, we're just going to choose to attack.
Thief's been picking pockets near here. You have a convincing air of it. Someone's been rifling through the
Alright,
wrong
here's our choice
pockets.
to attack, and then that will begin the battle. Our first goal is to take out the other enemy right near to us. We don't need to take out Karen, we need to take out Ryland because he has another one of those beast cage keys. So we want to take him out first, making sure that he's good and dead. You'll see that he turns into a shapeshifter type creature, and now no one can open up those cages to unleash the beasts. They will have to break out of them themselves. So now what we have to do is just fight off the other enemies nearby. There's Dribbles the Clown. He is another shapeshifter up on stage. He likes to hop down and just start killing all of the other NPCs around here, which is good because he's wasting his turn attacking them and not attacking us. So we're just going to go ahead making sure that we're weakening these guys as much as possible, then hitting them with a magic missile to finish them all off. And that gives us lots of experience for every kill that we get here. Be careful about that displacer beast because it is quite powerful. If you kill the one in the cage, it will also kill its clone at the same time. So you definitely want to prioritize that one over anything else. Be careful while throwing that new weapon that we have with Karlach, because if it's too close to any of our party members, they'll take damage. You'll see I'm actually hurting the NPCs in the area as well, but that's okay, we don't have to keep them alive. But in just 3 throws, we're able to take out Dribbles the Clown, even though he has an advantage against ranged weapons. So a very powerful weapon, and now we're able just to keep attacking the other guys around here. We actually do have an ally in this fight. It's one of the guards that roams through this area. You can see his portrait is highlighted in yellow at the top, and it's just very easy to take out these enemies without taking a whole lot of damage ourselves. So now that that Displacer Beast broke himself out, we can really start to focus on Shadow Whiskers here, and if we can take him out, then we won't have to worry about the other one as well. Keep in mind that if you're throwing things with Karlach, you definitely want to be careful if you're using that new weapon because you don't want to hurt all of your own party members, so it might be safer just to throw one of the other weapons that you might have on hand, and that will be good enough to do some good damage to the enemy without risk of hurting yourself. Or what you can do is just attack with it in the just main hand attack version, and that will not do the AoE damage. So let's take out this Shadow Whiskers here, and then you'll see that the other enemy, the clone of it, will also disappear. Now we just have to take out the dinosaur inside the cage. The only real place that you can hit it from is directly in front of its cage. So you can go over there and start attacking it just like I'm going to do with Lae'zel here. She'll run up, just start attacking it a couple times, doing some good damage. And then we're going to let the enemy take its turn. I use evasive footwork just to make it more likely that I'll dodge the attack. You remember that if I do dodge an attack, I can automatically use Riposte to do some good damage to the enemy that missed. I'll just skip some turns getting back to Lae'zel, and then she's going to go ahead and try to attack the enemy. Don't quite finish it off thanks to that miss, but when I run away, the enemy will try to attack us, and it missed, so I could instantly finish that off with my counterattack. So now that they're all done, we can go around and loot the different bodies around here. There's nothing super important that you can grab here, but one of the enemies over here named Fum, he is the guy who was Dribbles the Clown, only he was a shapeshifter. If we look at him, then we can grab some face painting kit from him, as well as a new hammer called Clown Hammer. Whenever this weapon lands a critical hit, both target and the attacker have to succeed a wisdom saving throw, or else they will have a fit of laughter, which is kind of interesting. It's a way that you could potentially cause an enemy to be incapacitated for a while, but it's pretty risky as well for us. Well, now what we want to do is to take out that guard who helped us out. He just gives us some more very easy experience.
You were witnessed assaulting someone. You're headed for
We'll just choose to attack, and he has very low health after that sneak attack, so we're just going to have Lae'zel run over there, hit him in the face, and then that will be the end of the fight. So that he's done, we can go around to make sure that we just loot everything around here that we want, and then we can keep going to kill one more enemy in this area with some very good loot. Let's run toward the west, and then you'll see an enemy called Lucretius over here. You just want to make sure that you're hiding somewhere in the area nearby, and then try to hit them with a sneak attack. Lucretius is very easy to take down, very similar to that last guard that we fought. She won't be able to last more than just an attack or two. So you'll see that we are prompted to attack the enemy. We'll go ahead and do that, and then just finish them off, and it'll be pretty easy. The problem is that it isn't so easy to actually loot her because there's so many people around here looking. So what you may have to do is to take out one of the innocent people nearby. You'll see that there is Highwire Hilda straight ahead of us. What we have to do is just use a normal range attack to finish her off. It feels a little bit weird killing someone who's so innocent, but hey, we're the Dark Urge, we're used to murdering people. You'll see that there's minions that come around to investigate. They might make it hard to do some looting too, so you might have to deal with that a little bit. You can just kill them pretty easily, or wait till their back is turned to try to loot them again. So Lucretius has not only the Ringmaster's Key, but also the Spellmight gloves. Make sure you pick those up. Even if you're in combat, you can still loot a body while in combat, so that's not so bad. Now we just have to finish off the enemies nearby. Here's Lucille. We'll take them out. There's also going to be some other enemies up in that top part there by that big tent, and there's some mage hands going on in there. If you've got Karlach, it's really easy to take those enemies out thanks to that new weapon that we have. It will do thunder damage in an area around it. Basically, it'll do lots of damage to everything nearby, and that will be enough to take them out pretty easily. So let's just throw that weapon up there a couple times, and then that should be enough to finish them all off.
Count on me. One, two.
Now that the fight is over, let's look inside our inventory and see exactly what we looted off of Lucretius's body. We didn't get a good chance to inspect this earlier because of that fight, but you'll see that we grabbed a new pair of gloves called the Spellmight gloves. When casting a spell that requires an attack roll, you can take a -5 penalty to the roll and deal an additional 1d8 damage. This operates pretty similarly to the feat Sharpshooter that we have, as well as things like Great Weapon Master, so it just allows us to take a little bit of a hit to the accuracy, but we can deal a lot more damage with that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that onto Gale. You should know that because Magic Missile doesn't use an attack roll, it's a guaranteed hit. It doesn't apply to that, but it does apply to things like his Ray of Frost or some of the other spells that he would use that have a chance to miss. Well, now we're going to leave the Circus of the Last Days. We're going to head north and go through the gate at the other end. It does have a skill check of 15, so let's just roll that and then keep going through. Once we go through the gate, go a little bit toward the right. There's going to be another door over here that we can go into, and this will lead us into the Open Hand Temple. Now, there's a whole thing about someone who's been murdered around here. We don't have to do any of that in this run, so let's just skip through here, go through the building, and now when we're outside again, we're going to go over toward the east. Let's run straight down here, and then we can hop down these ledges and get to the bottom where we can see those stairs. The next thing that we want to do is to go kill a young Mindflayer, and we're able to get another one of our Mindflayer parasites to power up our Illithid powers. So now that we're up the stairs and into Rivington, we're going to continue along toward the east, just run under this archway and keep going all the way to the end of this building. When you get to the end, you want to basically just continue straight ahead past the little outhouse here, and then go over toward the right side where you see the breaks in the rocks with all these plants. Now just keep going straight through here and then hug the wall that turns around toward the right side. That will take you all the way up to a windmill that we have to go into. The door here is locked. You could just blast your way through it if you have something that is powerful enough to break through the sturdy door. Or you can pick the lock. It does have a skill check of 15, not too difficult. Let's roll that and then go on inside. Once we get inside, straight ahead of us, there's going to be a hatch that will take us down to the lower level. And when we're down here, you'll see a sleeping young Mindflayer over here. So all we have to do is hide out, and then we can go ahead and attack it using a sneak attack range. That's going to bring up the fight. And then all we have to do is just use our normal attacks to take it out. Nothing really fancy here. No real strategies that we need to employ. I'm just going to whittle away its health, and it won't even be able to attack us. Especially because it's surprised, which means that we get automatic critical hits, assuming we can actually hit it. So that's all there is to this fight. It's just one enemy versus the 4 of us, so we're just going to take out all of its health, and then when it's done, then we will go over and loot its body to collect its brain. Killing it gives us an inspiration point for the Dark Urge called Haunted One, kill them while they're young. That also gives us a bonus 170 experience points. So now let's go over, like I said, and loot its body. You'll see that it has an interesting item. It's the Mindflayer brain. What's interesting is that just taking it does not automatically give you one of the Mindflayer parasite specimens that you can use to power up your Illithid powers. You can see it says 0 right there on the Illithid power menu. What you have to do is go into your inventory and you need to find that Mindflayer brain and actually use it. It's going to daze you for 1 turn, which is just 6 real life seconds, but it does give you one of those Illithid power parasites. So I'm just going to go over to Gale and I'm going to let him power himself up 1 more. He's only got 2 remaining abilities, so I'm going to give him the one in the bottom here called Mind Blast. So he's unlocked 25 out of the 26 total powers, meaning that Call the Weak just got a little bit stronger. Now if I can get an enemy down to below 25 health, it's going to automatically kill them with Gale. When you're all done here, let's head back up the ladder and we want to leave the abandoned windmill. We're going to go back right where we were before at the corner of that building with that outhouse. You want to run hugging the left wall as you go around. That will take you down all the stairs. And when you get to the bottom, just turn immediately toward the right and you're going to want to run down this alleyway right between the buildings on your left and the wall on your right. Just keep running down and sooner or later you will be over here by this outhouse and the couple people standing around. You want to hop down the ledge right in front of you, and then that will take you down to where you can find some knotted roots. We're going to climb down those roots and get to the bottom of the area. You should be able to discover this little cave entrance here. Let's enter the cave and we'll find ourselves in Angle Iron's cellar. Let's go immediately ahead of us, and then we'll climb up the cragged rock, then go down the hallway to get an automatic cutscene.
The boss is expecting you. Hasn't forgotten what you did for him at Moonrise.
Let's continue running toward the south, and then when we get inside, we'll turn toward the right, and there's going to be a merchant over here. We want to go ahead and talk to Bumpnagel.
You think I want my clan facing down one of those walking death machines with cutlery? Then leave me to my work.
Do you have anything to trade?
Only if you're quick.
So he's got some interesting things like the Scroll of Remove Curse. You might want to grab one of those. They'll come in handy later. He also has Flash Blinders. These are a total game changer when it comes to fighting the Steel Watch. However, the point is to not have to fight any of those Steel Watches ever. We can take them out without actually fighting them in combat. So instead what we want to do is just to steal some of those because they are incredibly expensive. So I'm just going to save the game and then steal them off of Bumpnagel. It's a little bit difficult. They have kind of a high curve to being able to steal them, but if you can get it, then that's all the better. Because they're expensive, they also sell for a lot, which helps us out. Well, after that, let's run over toward the southwest corner where we can find Wyrm walking around in the far back room.
Good to see you. Wasn't sure you'd make it to the city. Regretting it yet? I spent a lot of time thinking of worst case scenarios while I was locked in that cell you plucked me out of at Moonrise. I didn't imagine anything as bad as this. The Gondians have handed Enver Gortash the means to bring about the end of liberty in Baldur's Gate. And the citizens have rolled out the red carpet for the new tyrant. Resistance fighters are few and far between. My iron hands, what's left of the Harpers, and you. I hope.
I'm with you.
Good. We don't have a chance unless we stick together. Not while the Gondians' metal monsters are patrolling the streets. The Steel Watch, they're a threat to you, me, and every man, woman, and child in this city. They act all civilized, servants of the people, but they only serve one man. When he becomes Grand Duke, it will only get worse. Laws will change, freedoms will vanish, and soon you'll be accused and sentenced before you've even committed a crime. And the fucking Gondians are to blame for all of it.
Cheer up, Wyrm. We're here to help.
I heard about that. You had the Harpers all excited, but there aren't many Harpers left. These Steel Watchers, one of them is the equivalent of a red dragon. An army of them. Well, there's never been an army of dragons.
How do we stop them?
By hitting the Gondians. Hard. They invented the Steel Watchers, and they're building an army of them. They've always been happy to provide their technology to despots in exchange for a stipend and the freedom to work in peace. They would have licked Saravok's boots, given the chance. And now they'll kiss Gortash's ring while this city screams. I had a plan to put a stop to them. But the way things are now, if we stick our heads above ground, the Watchers are on us like flies on shit.
Maybe I can help.
I'm sure you can. You just need a little assistance, and I can provide it. The Gondians are ingenious, but we're more than equal to them. There's nothing they can build that the Iron Hands can't tear down. I've built something unique for just that purpose. A Runepowder bomb. First of its kind. 50 wizards high on the weave couldn't summon this kind of firepower. Get the bomb inside the Gondian facility, and boom. Problem solved.
Wulbren, please. This is too far. Everyone in the foundry would be killed.
Quiet, Barkus. The adults are talking.
Rogue. Sneak in, place the bomb, sneak out. Bang. Seems simple enough.
Ha! I knew you were the practical sort. That's why we get along. The foundry is in the lower city, down by the docks. Beautiful building, belching smoke into the sky day and night. Getting inside won't be easy, but when you do, place the bomb at the heart of the facility. Get yourself back to street level. The streets will be clear of Watchers in no time.
And for that, we get the Runepowder bomb, so that will make it very easy to destroy the Steelwatch Foundry, which we're going to do in the next episode. For right now, though, what we're going to do is to head on out of here. We're going to run toward the east and then go back around Bumpnagel's area. Let's keep running to the north, and then we're going to just exit the cave, and that will take us back outside. Now that we're outside, we're going to enter Wyrm's Crossing from the back way. So let's run down this hill a little bit, and you'll see over to the side there's going to be a little platform that we can just barely jump up onto. It's just enough for us to get over here. Let's climb up the nearby ladder. That will take us to the elevated platform, and then there's a couple boxes right ahead of us. We just have to climb up on those boxes, and then that will allow us to get all the way up into Wyrm's Crossing. From here, we're just going to keep running straight forward until we get up into the middle of the street. Now let's just wait for all of our party members to come up here and join us, and then we're going to just keep running straight down the street here toward the north. The game should autosave as you run down the road. Now there is a lot of stuff that you can do in this area, some side quests on both the right and the left side of the street, but we don't have to do any of them. Normally you'd have to do something to be able to get into the Worm's Rock Fortress ahead of us. However, we don't have to convince the guards of anything. We can just run straight past them because there is a way to go around this bridge. All you have to do is be able to fly. So go right to this far right corner and then choose the fly command, because you are partial illithid, this is possible, and then just go around to the right side and you can just barely squeeze your way right through here. That will take you into this area, and now you're officially inside Worm's Rock Fortress. Let's go forward and get a cutscene.
Naughty, naughty, naughty little master. You have disobeyed your father's wishes one time too many. For he who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself becomes a monster. When you gaze long into the abyss also gazes into you. Another will embrace what you have rejected, and that other will be your death. But your father loves you dearly. You will yourself yet. Slaughter your line. Become the last of your name. Lord Baal shall have but one chosen.
Memories flood back, snatches of your story written in the blood of 1,000 victims. Years spent in worship of Baal, leading his savage congregation in prayer, sacrifice, and slaughter. You were their master, and he was yours. A cruel master, a dread lord, a devoted father. All is as you feared. You are a spawn of Baal, his heir, his scion.
Surrender to the urge. Perhaps it is time to embrace your heritage.
Your heart pines for the love of your lord. You are not the last of your name. Not yet. There is another. The abomination wrapped in flesh you saw in the colony. Orin, dear sister, must die by your hand. An offering in Baal's sanctum. It's time to go home.
Lord Gortash has been expecting your arrival. Please hold a moment.
The Watcher's presence fades, but another takes its place. Confident, dominant, commanding.
Greetings, old friend. Orin told me you were on your way here, but I scarcely believed it. Welcome back to Baldur's Gate. Welcome home. Allow me to formally invite you to my inauguration. Make your way to the ceremonial hall.
Trouble to get inside, and now Gortash invites us to see it.
After those cutscenes, we're dazed for 2 turns, which is 12 real-life seconds, and during that time, the bridge lowers itself down, and our party members can start running toward us. Gale flew around, because he can fly, and the other ones just have to run across the bridge. Let's go through the door on our left first. We're going to grab this waypoint real fast, and then we can turn around and go back out. We're going to go across the hall and go through the big door next to this big Steel Watcher guy. And when we're inside, then we'll see that Mizora is in there, so we're going to go ahead and have a little chat with her.
If it isn't little Wyll's chums. I hope he hasn't been too much trouble. Heard about his father. The Dead Three's puppet. A travesty, really. He's upstairs in Wyrm's Rock, ordaining Gortash as Archduke. A splendid shindig, I hear. Perfect for crashing. Go on up. We'll talk after. And bring the pup along, if you can. I'd hate for him to miss the fun.
After speaking to Mizora, let's just go up and into the audience hall just to the east. Once we're upstairs, let's just run toward the west along this red carpet, and eventually we'll get into a cutscene with Gortash.
Kinspeople, Baldurians, friends, thank you for joining me on this exceptional day.
It's him. Gortash. This is it. I can practically taste his blood from here.
The tiefling is letting her passions get the better of her. The situation is delicate. Do not be swept up in her emotions.
I couldn't stand to see Gortash get his hands on you again. Let's wait for a more opportune moment.
So we bide our time. But make no mistake, that monkey is mine.
From earth do we rise. In fire are we forged. In steel are we mighty. Lord Enver Gortash, the people cry your name. Will you?
For the briefest moment, you are one with Duke Ravengard. His mind is void. A vessel of the Absolute, awaiting command.
My lord, we have a guest.
Exquisite timing. Dearest Patriarchs, but a moment. Lord Enver Gortash, at your service. I understand congratulations are in order. Thorm's defeat hasn't gone unnoticed. You're known for who you are and for that netherstone that you carry. Ah, and my old friend, Karlach. It's no wonder your victory was so decisive. It's lovely to see you again, darling.
I'm sure it is.
We'll catch up once we've covered more pressing matters. Thorm's netherstone, more to the point. You know, it takes all three to control the brain. Without Thorm's, it's become vexingly willful. The quakes are a clear warning. If nobody steps in soon, it'll free itself from the authority of the crown. I expect it'll start with turning the Sword Coasts infected. You among them. That prism of yours won't last indefinitely. Next, the grand design. The Mindflayer Empire reborn. If we're lucky, we'll become slaves. If we're unlucky, well, a bleak prospect. But it's a fate that can be avoided if you and I renew our old partnership. Together, we can still restore authority over the brain.
What kind of partnership do you have in mind?
There's an old wisdom. A brittle alliance can never be mended. It can only break. With Ketheric gone, Orin proves treacherous. She wants the Netherstones for herself. She only cares for blood. And your blood and mine are of particular interest to her.
I will bring her to heel.
You've met her assassins. Efficient killers, by all accounts. I know you survived previous encounters. But she won't relent. Orin changes shape faster than you and I change clothes. She might be anywhere. She's targeted me as well. I'm well protected, but she's extremely good at what she does. If Orin obtains all three Netherstones, she'll plunge the coast into chaos and paint the city in blood. I can't let that happen. I want to lead this city to glory, not scorch its earth. So I turn to you, the former ruler of the cult of Baal.
What do you propose?
Let's make our pact anew. A divine oath, sworn upon spirit and flesh. I do no harm to you, nor you to me. Furthermore, you'll have nothing to fear from my steel watch while our pact stands. Thorm's stone is yours to keep. When you slay Orin and take her stone, you bring it here. So the three are united once again. Together we rule Faerun as kings. No, more than kings. Gods. We rule as the absolute.
The urge, the deplorably brutal urge sickens within you. When you level the world over, that dead world must be yours alone. But first you will rule. Then you will ruin.
What do you say? Shall we be allies?
I can detect no deceit. This alliance could serve us well. And if it does not, well, we need not honor it.
Let's be allies, said the viper to the frog.
I will defeat Orin, and we shall be allies. You have my oath.
Then let it be writ by the black hand of Bane. I, Lord Enver Gortash, swear I shall do you no harm. We will rise together over Toriel as a roaring sun.
This isn't going to end well. Mark my words.
I understand your concerns, my old friend. But allow me to demonstrate why you made the right choice. Your camp is compromised. One among you is an imposter, a faceless. Who, I can't say. I'd suggest a thorough investigation. You'll find I speak the truth.
Take that with a grain of salt. This is Gortash we're talking to.
The faceless in your camp is like a knife at your throat. Remove it quickly, or any alliance between us would be exceedingly short-lived.
I must go.
Before you do, come and witness, as I make history as the first Archduke of Baldur's Gate.
All right.
Then we proceed. The Patriarchs await. distinguished dukes, patriarchs, dearest Raven Guard, I will heed your call. A new chapter begins.
Enver Gortash, swearest thou by Baldur's blade to defend the citizens of Baldur's Gate from enemies within and without?
I swear.
Swearest thou true faith and fealty to the same, by word, deed, and decree, so that none may suffer?
I swear.
Gathered guests, grant ye consent?
Say nothing.
Enver Gortash, the council appoints you Archduke of Baldur's Gate.
My friends, the Steel Watch stands ready. Let its blade fall on any who would diminish our city. And you, honored guest, will find me in my office above when you return. Do not come empty-handed.
After that, we get an inspiration point for Gale called Sage Coronation of the Dreadmaster, along with 220 experience. And it looks like Karlach wants to talk to us. She's got the exclamation mark above her head, so let's go ahead and chat with her real quick.
He looks the exact same as he did 10 years ago. Fancy a coat, I suppose. The Archduke of Baldur's Gate. What a sham. You don't really intend to be his ally, do you?
No, but he doesn't need to know that.
Fair enough. Now that he's within reach, I don't intend to let him slip away.
Don't worry, Karlach, you'll get your revenge soon enough. But first, we're going to head back toward the east, following that red carpet, and then we're going to go down the passageway to the lower level, where Mizora will want to talk to us once again.
What did I tell you? A momentous occasion. I'm sure you agree. And to think, the drama's just started. You see, Gortash has had Wyll's father relocated.
Where's he been taken?
To his death, the way I hear it. Such a shame. And to think, there's no way to save him. Or is there?
You know something, don't you?
I know enough. Let's talk to Wyll in your camp. Work something out. The Duke's life depends on it.
After the cutscene, Mizora disappears and goes back to our camp. We're not going to go there just yet. Instead, we're going to continue on into the lower city. So let's go ahead and leave this big room, go out into the hallway, turn toward the right, and then run outside. You'll go across this drawbridge, and then you'll be on the other side of it, where there's going to be a barrier between the Wyrm's Rock Fortress and the lower city. So just run over there, and then select to use the barrier into the lower city, and that will take you there. When you head into a new area, you actually get all of your health back. It doesn't quite count as a long rest because you don't get a lot of those other bonuses from that, like your spell slots, but at least your health gets refilled. Let's run a little bit forward, and then we're going to grab a waypoint over here at the Basilisk Gate waypoint, and now we're going to head back to camp doing an official long rest, and that will take us to the cutscene with Mizora.
Sorore surge, testis esto pacti me. Monsters, be my testament. Notum sit in Beator.
Notum sit in Beator.
Holy hells.
The Duke's been taken. Now what?
Your parasite links with Wyll's, and your memories flow into him. He sees his father's flight from Wyrm's Rock, and hears Mizora's words to you.
Shit.
Sisters.
Infernos contractos te vocamos. Infernos contractos te vocamos. Infernos contractos te vocamos.
Your contract, Wyll. Signed in blood, forged in fire, bound in bone, but not unbreakable.
What are you proposing?
A life for a life. No contract is ended without sacrifice. The cost must be paid. Wyll Ravengard, a choice is before you. Option 1. I show you the way to your father. I guarantee him no harm except that from you and your allies. And you pledge your soul to me and the Archdevil Zariel in a pact eternal. Option 2. I break your pact and you are freed from your duty. Your father dies by his enemy's hand, and Baldur's Gate loses its greatest champion. Name your sacrifice.
Bloody Zariel. I won't let her take Wyll.
Silence, Karlach.
Mizora, you asshole!
Choose.
Break the pact, Wyll. You deserve your freedom.
You damned wretch. Father. Do it. Break the pact.
Fiat ita.
Fiat ita. Anima ad beator.
Didn't think you had it in you. Seems my boy's all grown up. And don't go fussing about your father. You made your choice. You knew the terms. You know what? I think I'll stick around. Not for the greater good, you understand. Just for the entertainment.
Well, that is how you get the loophole trophy if you were going for that one, but we got that in a previous playthrough, so we didn't have to worry about it this time. Now we want to end on a more lighthearted note. Let's run over and talk to Karlach. She has an exclamation mark above her head, and now we're going to get the hot date trophy.
I figured it out. Exactly what I want to do with you.
Your wish is my command.
I want to go on a date. A first date. No weapons, no monsters, no mysterious voices. Just you and me and dinner.
Please say yes.
I'd love to go out with you.
Yes! Oh, amazing. Put on your least bloody tunic and meet me back here. Oh, I'm so excited!
Let's go.
Give me a beat to run ahead. I want to make sure everything's absolutely perfect. See you there. Hi. Hi. You made it. You look nice.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you. Baldurian seafood stew. No, thank you. What do you think you'll have?
The grilled rothe ribs sound good.
Just what I had in mind.
Huh?
2 of the rothe ribs, please. And 2 glasses of...
Wine.
And 2 glasses of wine. So, you're an adventurer, right? How's that going?
More difficult than expected. The baddies around here are very bad.
Bad-ish. Not trying to one-up the local villains, of course, but man, have I seen some shit. But hang on, this isn't first date talk. Tonight, I'm a mystery to you, and you're a mystery to me.
That's true. We ought to behave like we've only just met.
Exactly. Anything you'd like to know about your enigmatic new paramour?
So, where did you grow up?
Right here in Baldur's Gate, more or less. My folks are long gone now, but they raised me in the outer city. Dad was a porter in town, Mum did laundry. Still think of her when I smell clean sheets. We were poorer than dirt, but my gods, we had fun. What about you?
It's very faint, but I think that a foster family looked after me before I ended up in the Temple of Baal.
Wonder if they're still out there somewhere. No chance they could have forgotten someone like you. Oh, hey! Here comes our food. Hey, Henk? I think we ordered the...
Bleeder.
worst guy I ever met. Anyway, how about a toast? Oh, shit!
We can use my glass. To us.
May we live every day like it's our last. Because you never know when your last will come. Oh, that was great. The food and the company.
What do you want to do now?
You know what I want to do. I know I can't stay forever here with you. In fact, I feel like I don't have long left at all. We've been through so much, and the worst is yet to come. I have every reason to feel terrified, hopeless, not giving up. But to be here with you, in the city I love, in this world that I love so much, it's all I could really ask for. You hear me? You're all I could ever ask for. I love you. And I know that whatever else this city will throw at us, we can handle it.
I love you too.
Come on. There's something I want to show you upstairs.
After you.
No, after you.
And with that, we finally earned the Hot Date trophy. We had to start that way at the beginning of the game, and it finally took us until Act 3 to accomplish that, but it feels really good to have that one checked off the list. And on that very happy note, we're going to bring part 22 to a close. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As a outlook on the rest of the series, there's not that much more that we have to do. We're going to keep it really laser focused into only doing some of the things that provide us with the biggest benefit. That will be saving Duke Ravengard to get him as an ally. We're going to destroy the Sealwatch Foundry. That will not only give us another ally in the end of the game, but also make the fight against Gortash easier. Then we just have to take out Gortash and Ornn, and then it's a sprint to the finish. So hopefully you'll join me for that. I'll see you soon for part 23. Until then, thanks for watching and have a good day.